From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, it's DT on Our Minds. I'm your girl, Tasha.
And I'm that fat girl, Dana.
Yes, honey. I love your moniker. It never gets old. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at, of course, DT on Our Minds. And today's show is going to be interesting because we're going to sound really angry.
Yeah,
we today. I mean, and we are angry. So rightfully, we sound angry.
Yeah.
A lot going on in the news that
doesn't make nobody happy.
Yeah, it's disheartening. I always tell people that I love people, but sometimes I want to push people off the world. That's not my place, but that's how I feel. Like you don't even belong. Get out of here.
You need to not have oxygen. I'm just saying.
Right. Meanwhile, guy rolls his eyes like, I wish she'd be quiet down there.
I love you, but cut it out.
Right. Quit playing. Can't be doing that. So yeah, it's been a crazy week, and right here, I'm in Chicago. This story, I'm gonna let you talk about this wonderful baby. Unfortunately, he's lost because his sperm and egg donor
are miserable human beings.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old named AJ went missing on Thursday, allegedly.
Yeah.
And they arrested his parents. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Yes. So it's
about a week after.
He went missing. And they had been on the news and they were crying and they can't find him and come on home and whatever. You knew.
Yeah.
That he wouldn't come home. And you were just putting on a display for the media and the police because you thought you can get away with killing your own child. And that just makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
They have a $5 million bond, which you only actually have to get 10% of, which I find insane.
Yeah, just no bond for charges like that.
Yes, I mean they came when they found his body. They came really fast to come get his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be a lot of evidence against them for that to happen that fast. Because usually, I mean, even with the most highly profiled kid killing, what's her name?
JonBenet Ramsey.
Yes, Ramsey. And they never actually were like, hey, we're going to arrest you now.
Yeah, it took them a long time.
Yeah, they interviewed him like 85 times, and then they both died. So we'll never actually know if that was them.
Yeah. At some point, the parents stopped cooperating, and then the news reports came out that the mom's attorney had been seen at the police station.
Right.
And then suddenly there was this very strategic search. It was in a single place. It wasn't like, okay, well, we're going to these places. No, they went to a place.
Right.
And then came back with the news that unfortunately they had found his body. And then, like you said, very soon after,
it was like, oh, you're coming to jail now. And they have been charged with first-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated domestic battery. I'm not really sure what the difference is. I don't want to be a lawyer.
Lots and lots of detail.
And failure to report a missing or child death. And the dad was also charged with concealment of homicidal death, which means pretty much the mom did it and the dad just covered it up.
Or maybe they both did it and he concealed it. I don't know. I didn't go to law school. I
feel that they would have both been charged with that if it happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just guessing. But this woman is also 7 months pregnant. So she's bringing another child into the world, and she just took one out for whatever reason she decided that was a good idea.
His life started rough. He was born addicted to opioids.
Yeah.
So what chance did this poor baby have?
I don't know. And you also have to figure out why DCFS didn't really follow through on everything. Because they had taken him away before and gave him back. And then, I don't know, whatever happened, and here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there are some things that happen domestically with children, and DCFS comes in, and yeah, it was just a situation.
Sure.
But
this seems like a pattern.
Yeah. Because they've been there more than once and seen, multiple things. So, and it's kind of like the little girl from Joliet that they found in the couch.
Yeah.
That they were all sitting on.
Girl.
And telling the police they didn't know where. Like, I don't get it. Like, what?
There's so many people who want children.
Exactly.
Who would love to take care of, your child that you either can't or don't want to.
Exactly.
Take care of. I don't get it either.
It's just like, and birth control, it's there. Especially in Illinois. Use it.
Yeah.
I can't say that for every state, but I know we have it.
Sure. And it's frustrating because it's like, okay, these are the most vulnerable in our society.
And they don't know any better usually. Like, if their life is all about being beat up their entire life, that's all they know.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, this is wrong, Mom. They don't know.
Yeah. They are just literally in survival mode.
Yeah.
And that's hurtful because they don't know. He was 5. Who was he sharing this information with? He couldn't.
Exactly.
And
I don't remember. Does he have other siblings besides the...
I believe other children were taken from the home. But just the whole scenario.
Yeah.
The trauma, the fear he must have felt. The trauma on everyone else.
Right.
And now this new baby coming.
Yeah.
And so it makes you wonder, okay, what's going to happen to this baby? Was it a situation, you want to know what happened with the state, excuse me. Was it a situation where caseworkers were being changed all the time and so nobody had consistent notes? Or did somebody just fail to follow through? You don't know.
Right.
And I'm sure that'll all come out in the wash, but geez.
Yeah.
It's too much. Nobody deserves that, let alone a 5-year-old. He's done nothing.
Yeah.
To deserve it.
Nothing at all.
Yeah. Frustrating. Also, in horrible news, today is about grinding our gears all day. Back in 1988 in Jasper, Texas, James Byrd Jr., 49-year-old man, was murdered by white supremacists. 3 men were convicted of his death, and it prompted new kind of ammunition for the federal government to go after people for hate crimes. The James Byrd death and the Matthew Shepard death gave a lot of ammunition to, put some teeth behind federal hate crime laws. And the other day, John William King was one of the 3 men convicted. He was executed. He had no final words. He said nothing. There was no remorse shown, according to Mr. Byrd's relative, Clara. And back in 2011, Lawrence Brewer was killed by lethal injection. So the third person convicted, Sean Berry, has life in prison, and he's eligible for parole. Why? In 2038. So, yeah. He was dragged for 3 miles, Dana.
Yeah.
Now, I fell off a moving car when I was little. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But it was probably a house length. That's not.
No.
So, to be dragged and to understand what's happening and the pain and the hitting the ground constantly for 3 miles. Like 3 miles is nothing if I say I'm running to the store. Where's the store? Oh, it's just 3 miles that way.
Right. But
But I'm riding in the car. I'm driving the car. That's very different than being dragged.
Touching the road.
Behind. And it's horrible.
Yeah. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that case.
Yeah. I was coming out of undergrad. And I was just like, who? What?
Why? Like, what? I don't understand what really compels people to kill, for one. I don't understand what compels them to hate something they don't understand.
Sure.
I don't understand why acting out that aggressively because you don't understand another person or because that other person doesn't look like you. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense. I don't look like you. You're going to drag me?
Right.
I understand I'm white, but I also have boobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what compels you to do that? Like, what clicks in your brain that says, yeah, this is okay?
Yeah. I'm just going to take this man and kill him.
Right.
But I mean, it's the very same question we would ask about this baby. What are
exactly.
What are you thinking?
Like, what has brought us as a society to think that this is okay now?
Mm-hmm. I still chalk it up to mental illness, and I don't know if that's just what helps me rest at night.
I don't,
but I don't know if it's just
a combination.
Evil. Sure, evil, mental, but it's because I can't wrap my mind around it. That's kind of my go-to. Like, something's wrong with you.
Right. I mean, there are people in my family who I will never bring my daughter to see.
Sure.
Because she's mixed.
Good.
I have I'm not risking it.
Understood.
Because she's my baby.
Yeah.
And the way that you have talked about black people my entire life,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no desire to be around you.
Right.
So I am not bringing my daughter into that situation. You got to be out your mind.
Absolutely.
Like, hello. I mean, she'd probably be like, you're an idiot.
Right.
But I ain't bringing her in that situation.
Agreed.
Ever.
So they've never met her, or?
Nope.
Okay.
They probably don't even know she exists, to be honest.
I was about to say, are they aware of her existence?
I mean, maybe. But not doing it.
No, I don't blame you.
But so that's why I think it's not just mental illness. It also has to do with how you were brought up. Sure. If you were brought up to believe that black people were stupid and they were beneath you and whatever, even though you live in a house without indoor plumbing and my friends have cars, I'm gonna defer to something else.
I completely get your point. I just wonder what makes you act on it, though. I think that's the mental illness piece for me.
Yes,
because I can think what I think. Sometimes we hold biases, but I'm not ever gonna go out and be like, you know what, you need to die because XYZ. I perceive this to be different about us.
Yeah. In my mind, the only person who needs to die is somebody who is attacking me.
Absolutely. Because I'm not going.
I ain't going. I'm not going. If it's between you and me,
yeah.
See
you later.
I'm going to make it.
And depending on how it goes, I might even stop and give you an opportunity to try to talk to Jesus for a minute. But I'm still not going.
Exactly.
Be like, hold on, this happening, but maybe you want to talk to God for a minute.
When you have 3 men, beating you until you can't.
Yeah. Have no idea that that's about to happen.
And you don't even know why.
Yeah. So, you don't know what's going to happen. You're in a situation where, my understanding is that Mr. Bird was coming from a store, and then his acquaintances, a friend, saw him in the bed of a pickup truck with some white men. He probably accepted a ride, or maybe he knew them casually. I'm not sure. But whatever the situation, I promise you, he didn't expect that this was going to happen.
Right. Oh, I'm sure. Who would?
The horror of the whole thing. I think that's the piece that hurts. It was, not your traditional tree lynching, but it was a lynching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lynching. And our condolences to the family and loved ones of James Byrd. The sister said that she felt nothing as the convicted murderer was executed. She said it was just, but she didn't feel anything. It wasn't like, that's what you get. It was just, it was what it was.
Well, and it's been such a long time that she probably had already gone through that kind of grieving and that anger.
Yeah.
And had, left it to God.
Yeah.
And, came to a peace within her.
Within herself.
Yeah. So she didn't need that.
Yeah.
Everything's better now because he's gone.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just wonder what that conversation's like when you get to the other side. So you killed that man. Why?
Right. You thought this was okay?
This is a man I created, and you killed him because what now?
Right.
How dare you? It's very frustrating, and with all the things that are happening, just around, I guess the adage, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Things that have improved, but then things have not improved, and
well,
so I just, it makes you wonder. Now I'm gonna just leave it there because it becomes emotional for me, and I want to make sure that I'm not speaking on emotion but speaking on facts, even though this is DT on our minds. I want to make sure I'm clear before I just start. You know what I mean? Be like, is Tasha cussing? You got a problem with it?
We on the internet.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna keep it cool. And when my thoughts are a little more gathered, it's just very frustrating to read. At the same time, it's like, okay, he was executed. Colonel Tasha is like, yeah, I should have dragged him the same way.
Yeah.
Let it ride. You thought that was appropriate? Okay.
Yeah.
It's now appropriate for you. See how that goes.
Yeah.
But whatever. That is what it is.
It is.
Yeah. The other thing that is on my mind today is I'm an educator, a new dress code for parents. Houston High School has a new dress code for parents that some are agreeing with and some are not agreeing with. That's on any issue, I guess. And Principal Carlotta Outley Brown wrote in a letter to parents that you are your child's first teacher. And shout out to Principal Brown because that is true. Mm-hmm. The policy came into play to discourage adults from coming to the school, I guess, in some people's opinions, looking like they just rolled out of bed.
Well, because they did.
The bonnets, the leggings, the pajama pants.
I don't have a problem with leggings.
I think they were too sheer. They probably weren't leggings that were to go out of the house.
Because my daughter wears leggings like all the time.
Yeah, I like leggings.
They're comfy.
They won't stay up over my fat stomach right now, but don't worry about that. I'm working on it. I am down 7 pounds.
You're covering
right
vital parts.
Exactly. I think that was the issue. Things were not completely covered, and the quote was, "We're preparing your child for a prosperous future. We want them to know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate for any setting they may be in." And that's according to the New York Times. And I agree with that part of the letter. I don't have a problem with the dress code at all.
Right.
I'm by all means enforce it. I get the point she's trying to make. Some people have called it elitist. And said that, what people may not be able to afford. We're just asking you not to wear your underwear.
Right.
That's all.
You can afford clothes to go to work, right?
Whatever you're doing. Like, even if you're at home, whatever that looks like, you can put on a different pair of clothes. In an emergency, I don't know. I'm the world's fastest speed dresser.
Right.
If you call me, my uncle passed and my cousin called to say, don't go get your parents. I got them. and we arrived at the same time. Now I'm way far
right
from Rush Hospital, and we pulled up at the same time. And he said, "How many people did you hit on your ride here?" And I was like, "You said uncle."
I needed to move.
I had a shower and put on clothes.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Mine comes from changing in the back of a bus. I know that sounds messed up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to clarify that.
I was in show choir for a really long time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We'd like change real fast.
Sure.
So I know how to change fast.
Yeah. I just think that if you're coming to school, you're there to conduct business of some sort related to your child. Couple things. One, you're conducting business. And two, if you come up looking a certain way, you know how kids are.
Yeah.
And now you've created a situation and some ammunition for some kids who, want to do what they do.
And pick on your kid.
To pick on your kid. Now we've got a bigger issue. Now you got to come back to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, people are very sensitive about their moms, rightfully so. So, you say something about my mother coming up here in her, tank top with no bra on.
Yeah.
A couple of my educator friends had some comments, and I chuckled. We'll just call her Miss Evans. She said, "Okay, I'm reading the parents' comments in response to this new dress code, and if I am understanding correctly, one of the arguments was that parents might not have the money to go to a salon every week or to get their hair done." Now, she's a reading teacher, so I know that in her mind, she's like, they weren't paying attention to the context. I can hear you, Miss Evans. She says, "I am sorry, but it takes nothing to comb your damn hair. No one is saying, no one is saying you have to come to the school dressed and looking like your red carpet ready, but come dressed with decency. You should be coming up to the school dressed as if you are preparing for bed." Agreed.
I totally agree.
Because I look crazy when I'm going to bed. You do not want me outside of the house. I live alone. I'm good. Nobody cares. So I'm a hot mess. I might have a mud mask on my face. Yeah, it's not pretty.
But your face looks great in the morning. So
well, see, that's good.
That's what's going on.
But I should not go to execute business.
No, like that.
Dressed this way. No. I should only come out of the house like that if it's on fire.
Yes, I agree.
And then it's like, all right, y'all, somebody give me a roll.
But you're a quick changer, so you
I'm not faster than fire. I'm fast, but I ain't that fast. My cousin Tiffany says on the Facebook post, "Now I will wear pajama pants to drop my son off, but no one ever knows," which means they don't look like pajama pants.
Or you don't get out of the car.
That. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think it's elitist. What do you think?
I don't think it's elitist either. I think, here's the thing. Growing up, we never really had a lot of money.
Sure.
I always was, shopping at thrift stores and whatever. If you can't find something decent at a thrift store for like 50 cents, I mean...
Sidebar, I just found two really cute new purses at the thrift store. Go on.
See? If you can't find something decent to wear at a thrift store just to drop your kids off at school or come to school and have a visit with the principal or whatever,
because you may have a legitimate, of course, this your child. And I think people feel judged because they may not come up dressed to the nines. But I promise you, most teachers don't care about that at all.
Right.
We're concerned about your child, their progress, and if we have some concerns, your ability to understand what we want to do as a team.
Right.
A lot of times, and this is my educator's hat being on now, a lot of times parents have had negative experiences in school settings, and they transfer those feelings because that's human nature.
Right.
They're not necessarily wrong for it, but they may not recognize that your experiences do not necessarily inform the experience you're going to have. Your child, is going to have in a school setting. So if you come up very combative, at the same time, some teachers do it all backward.
Yeah.
They have had these negative experiences with parents, and so now they view all parents through the same lens.
Right.
No, don't do that. That's unfair.
When I did parent-teacher conferences, because I was one of the few who did it, kindergarten all the way through.
Kudos to you.
most of them were like, you're okay with all of this? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah. You're telling me the information I need to know. My kid's being a douche. I'm gonna have to correct that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or, you know, most of her teachers always loved her. She had like one or two that were, I want to say, intimidated by her, to be honest.
Sometimes it's like that, yeah.
Because she did kind of seem to know more than her science teacher.
I was about to say, I'm still looking. Science teacher, I'm going to be quiet. Auntie Tasha gets mad. But that's okay.
You know. So.
Yeah.
But I never showed up wearing house slippers and a do-rag.
Yeah. I just think the lesson is to learn to dress appropriately, because if they don't learn these lessons now, then they will go somewhere and embarrass themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's not
they end up on that Walmart
those Walmart videos.
People of Walmart
Jesus.
And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that to your kid.
Don't record the people at Walmart, y'all. That's not dope. Just don't. I think that's a good place to put a post positive, because people have gotten on my nerves this week. I love y'all. I love everybody. Post positive, Dana, take it away.
Post positive. Well, we are bringing in the post positive from Tucker, Georgia.
Yay.
A woman named Carolyn Collins, who is a janitor at Tucker High School.
Nice.
Created 4 years ago a giving closet, because she had students who wanted to come into the school 2 hours early to get ready for school, because they had been living in their car. And she generously just started this whole giving thing. She has toiletries, she has clothing, she has notebooks, just everything you need to go to school so you can dress appropriately. How that tied back in. So you would feel safe and you would feel ready for school, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything while you were at school.
Sure.
I mean, yes, your outside is a mess, but here I'm going to give you what you need.
Safe space.
Exactly. So her video is actually on our Facebook right now, so if you want to watch that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and share and ask your friends to subscribe. That's a great way to end the show. That's very nice. The human spirit is diverse.
Yes, as we have seen today.
So we like to end on a positive note. From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, you have been listening to DT on Our Minds. I'm your girl, Tasha.
And I'm that fat girl, Dana.
Don't forget to continue to like and follow us on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Check out the station and our other shows on tlctalkradio.com. And we will catch you next week. Peace.